Tyler, today we're going to talk about our favorite thing to talk about.
Food or mixed drinks?
Oh, okay. Our third favorite thing,
Okay, sales.
sales. We're going to talk about sales. But I want to mix it up a little bit. We
Okay.
just left a really great meeting where we pulled in a few different people from our team to talk
Yeah.
about sales and how they and their roles can support sales. So I guess the first question is after that, conversation, how can other people in an organization support the sales team, the sales process, or converting leads?
Yeah, it's super interesting because every business or every product or every service that's sold across different businesses is different, right? And so their teams are set up different, their sales processes are different. Sometimes you don't, like we're probably more on that like big ticket consulting side of things. And so that decision-making process can be longer. Sometimes you have to get more creative. Sometimes it's more competitive in certain areas versus the other side of it of like, the $10 widget you sell online
Yeah.
or something like that. They're very different, as far as what you need. On the big ticket consulting items, there is a lot of competition for it, and so trying to figure out how do you differentiate yourself in that, and then how do you just stand out as like, we talk a lot about like building like your know and your like and your trust factors, right? So the first one is they have to know who you are, they have to like who you are, and then they got to figure out how to trust you, and that's how you're going to be able to say yes or no. That's how people make decisions. And so in that bigger ticket item, whatever, and from a consulting side, you have to figure those out. You have to figure them out. And sometimes they change. Sometimes they're different from industry to industry that you're selling into. Some of them, as you get bigger clients, they're different. And so I think what we've found though is that the more transparent we are in asking for help with our team, the better ideas we have. And so oftentimes you kind of get into that, like, it's not like rote or routine or mundane, but it's like, you run your sales process, you send reminders, occasionally you might pick up the phone, you're going to reach out on LinkedIn, you might send gifts or whatever that might look like. And it can get kind of like stale and you kind of run out of ideas. And especially as a small sales team, it's hard to know like, how do you like kind of revamp things or, kind of jolt it alive somehow. And so I think honestly, we've just found a lot of help with just like quick Zoom call, share the screen of the pipeline. Here's, top 10 deals I'm trying to figure out how to close this week, this month, this year, whatever. And then like, people ask, well, what is it? Who's the company? What are you trying to sell to them? And then, you'll share that or I'll share that or whatever. And then it's like, oh, okay, what are some ideas? What could you do? What are some upsell opportunities? What are some outreach ideas? So I feel like it's just been a lot of it for us has just been like, oh no, this is a team game. This is a team game to like land new projects, land new revenue, those types of things. And no matter what the size of your company is it should be a team game.
Agreed.
You should be able to do team selling, and it helps build trust when you bring in different people and people can meet others on your team and go, oh, these are great individuals, or they're really capable or really knowledgeable or really skilled or whatever. And oftentimes that actually helps your sales process versus sometimes people think it takes away from it because, oh, that's not their job. They're not supposed to do that. But I think it's been really helpful. So
I 110% agree. And kind of diving into that a little bit more, what are some of the ways that salespeople can actually like tap into the expertise of other people on the team? What can they actually do?
yeah, it's interesting. Like, I mean, there's a real example for us. Like we've got a lead that does like athletic fitness and training camps and all those types of things. They do it like at a collegiate level and probably some amateur stuff. And we have a person on staff that their spouse is a college football coach at a pretty high level at a great school, and so like she knows a lot in that space. And so it's interesting to like bring that deal opportunity up to an individual, and they're like they can riff on ideas and thoughts, and they know a ton about that industry. And so obviously this is like maybe a little bit outside of our like core, customers that maybe we've done a ton of work for and have a lot of proven, success for. The tactics and services aren't, and the results are repeatable. But as far as like having these like, oh yeah, exact apples for apples business that they do, that might be a stretch for us. And so we're trying to land and get into that more like education type area and academic type of an area. But sometimes you just need like insider knowledge. And so kind of having her like be able to tap into her and kind of ask questions and getting ideas, and even having her like do some video outreach and doing kind of these types of things where it's a conversation that you send to clients that might be a valuable piece or valuable asset. That's been helpful. And then oftentimes too, it's helpful just to bring in like a specialist, if you will. So like maybe we're going to write copy for another business, or maybe we're going to do like a HubSpot onboarding or build an integration or develop a website or whatever the thing is. And to actually like bring in the people that's what they do day in and day out, and just kind of like introduce them to like, here's the problem they described. Got any ideas? Got any thoughts? And then oftentimes they'll just riff for 5 minutes and you're like, oh, there's like a million, gold nuggets that you can kind of pull out of there.
Yeah.
And so I think honestly, it's like, there's probably an element for anybody that's in the midst of this, that's like, you kind of got to check your ego at the door and just go, no, I don't have all the answers. I need help with this. And I feel like we're going to have a better product if we bring in other people, or better service if we bring in other people. And so you just kind of tap their shoulder and, hey, can you spend 5 minutes on this? Or can I send you a scenario in Slack or whatever? And can you respond to it? Or, just like really just tapping into different experts on your team and kind of pulling them in. I mean, I honestly would say it's the same with like you and I, Amanda. We primarily do a lot of the sales, and you're pushing the majority of them forward, but sometimes you'll just tap my shoulder and go, hey, would you mind sending a video to these people and introducing yourself and talking about your experience with this? Or would you mind jumping on this call and helping, just ask questions and have a different perspective? Or I think it's just, a willingness and building a culture where there is a willingness for everybody just to pitch in and know that maybe it's not their maybe your primary function, but they're willing to pitch in. So
yeah, exactly. You've already touched on it a little bit, but what are some of the out of the box ways that other team members or the organization as a whole can kind of help drive that sales process forward?
It's probably a little bit customary to everybody, but I think you just have to remember that for people to make a decision, it's numerous touch points. And it's not one email that's going to make people buy. It's not one phone call, one LinkedIn message. And if you do development and you're overseas, please stop sending me the LinkedIn messages of your hourly rates. But it's not one, right? It's a combo of all the above. And so we've found the most success when we're kind of pushing forward numerous different, outreach methods, if you will. And so that might be gifting, it might be emails, it might be phone calls, it might be Slack messages, or LinkedIn messages. It might be, specific to a social channel. I think what we're trying to do is, I go back to what I said earlier, like building that know, like, and trust factor and going, okay, if you look at that like a pipeline or a funnel or whatever image you want to use, and you're like, how do you build the know side of things? Like, how do you, have a list of clients you want to go after, and then like find them in different places and just build the know part. You're just commenting on social posts or congratulating them on a job change or a promotion, or, it's like you're trying to just build that know piece. And then maybe over time you start to then drop in little hey, maybe this might help, or link to this article, or shoot a quick video and send it over. And that's kind of build the like piece, because they're going to get to know and like you. And then you got to figure out how to build, trust with them. And sometimes that can be, small projects. Sometimes that can be, again, added value. And then they might try something that you suggested and it worked. And so now they're going to start to build that trust. And so I think, honestly, I can't say, here's the silver bullet. If you just, buy a lot of stuffed teddy bears and put chocolate in their hands and send them out, it's going to work every time. Maybe it might, which maybe we should try sending stuff. But I think it's just like remembering it's like multi-pronged, right? It's like numerous different ways in reaching out to people. It's the same thing. I think of big insurance sales. I remember talking to somebody a couple of days ago about this, and it's like they try to fly to different cities and meet with their clients and take them out to lunch and play golf with them and buy them things, or, send them notes or whatever. And it's like one of those things alone probably isn't going to keep those big clients, but the numerous different touch points is going to keep that relationship going. And most people buy based on relationships. And so figuring out how do you build relationships with people, how do you build that know, like, and trust factor with people, and just remembering it's multi-pronged. So you just got to look at it that way versus hoping that one email to your database closes, millions of dollars in business.
Yeah, I feel like it's not like we shouldn't be doing anything out of the box, or like that's weird. You just need to be consistent, and real. There's a book that I really love. I haven't read it in a while, but it's called Unselling. And just don't be salesy.
Yeah.
Be a real person, add value. Absolutely.
Yeah. I think one of the things is ask questions. Just ask questions. And so even all the way to the end of like, we've sent them everything they need, everything they've asked for, and they've gone dark. Well, then ask them a question. Hey, thinking about you. I've seen your name a million times in the pipeline here. Is this something you're still interested in moving forward with? If so, is there something that we missed? We want to be a great partner for you? And like, is there anything that we should change or tweak here or shift there to like make this the best solution for you? Because obviously we want to do what's best for you and best interest of you as the client. So ask the question. Don't just go like those emails of like pick 1, 2, or 3. Either you're interested or not, and you're like, sure, I guess if you want me to answer right now, most of the time it's going to be no from people, you know? And so like, I don't know, just ask questions and like come at it with a, like, I don't have all the answers, but I'm going to work for you to get them. Mm-hmm. Or I have a proven thing of getting results every time or whatever. So I think just asking questions is a good kind of rule of thumb, you know, think of it creatively, bring other people in your team, have numerous different approaches. So lots of different channels you might reach out to people in or build that know, like, and trust factor. And then just ask really good questions, because you got to be genuinely interested in your clients or your prospects. Mm-hmm. Otherwise they'll see right through it if it's just like close the next deal, which is hard sometimes in the sales seat. So
absolutely. Well, thank you, Tyler.
Yeah, it's fun.
As always. We'll see you later.
Bye-bye.